4.2, writing equations in point slope form. Are you ready? Phones are away. Okay. All right, so today we are going to talk about something called point slope form. A little different than slope intercept. Slope intercept, it's nice when you have a slope and an intercept, right? But what if you don't have those things? That's when point slope form comes in handy. Point slope form is really what you should use when you have a point and a slope, right? That's what's kind of nice about them, is it tells you exactly when to use them. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. You got that right? Y minus y1 equals m, and then in parentheses, x minus x1.
One more time,
All right. So how this works is that you are going to have a point and a slope, right? There's actually a point and a slope in this equation that I have written for you. If you look here, see this y1 and this x1? That's actually your point. So you're basically writing the equation of a line that goes through the point x1, y1. That's your point. The other x and y are just variables. You don't have to worry about them. They're going to stay x and y. I know. They're little ones. Then the slope, what letter always stands for slope? M. Then this m value here is your slope. Okay, so here's the point. You're going to plug x in for x, y in for y, and then the slope. It's one of those things where once you start doing it, you'll see where things need to be plugged in. So writing an equation of a line using point slope, we have a 3-step process here. We are going to plug in the point and the slope. So plug the point in for x1, y1, plug the slope in for m. Then we're going to distribute, because see how there's parentheses? There's going to be a number outside of our parentheses we have to distribute. Then you want to get the y all by itself. It'll be kind of like our 2-column method. I'll show you. Okay. So let's practice this. Write an equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the given point and has the given slope. So I'm giving you a point and a slope, so you should use point slope. All right, so let's label what everything is so we know exactly where it needs to go. Okay, so this is your point, this is your slope. So that means this is your x1, this is your y1, and this is m, and it's already labeled as m for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and we're going to plug this information into the appropriate places. We're going to put y1 where the y1 is. You're going to put x1 where the x1 is. And you're going to put your slope 4 right where the little letter m is. The y and the x, the normal ones, are going to stay letters because we need variables. Okay, so let's practice plugging this in. So This, what Jaden was just asking, this y in the front, it's just going to stay y. We have to have some variables. So some of them are going to stay letters. So you're going to have y minus y1. Now, if you look up at your coordinate point, what's your y1 value? 3. So you're just going to simply put a 3 in place of y1. Then m is your slope. What number was our slope here? 4. So we're going to put a 4 in for m. And then you're going to put your parenthesis. This regular old x is going to stay a regular old x. You're going to bring down your negative sign or your subtraction. And then what number is x1? -8. So we have y minus 3 equals 4 times x minus the -8. Before I do anything else, what should I do with that double negative? All right, let's change that into a positive. Now just think your normal simplification. Don't we have a number on the outside of our parentheses? Yes. What should we do when you have a number like that outside of parentheses? Yeah, you should multiply. You should distribute it. So we're going to distribute this 4. So what we're going to do on the left here, I don't want to do anything with this y minus 3 yet. I'm just going to bring it down. Now on the other side, I'm going to distribute. What's 4 times x? 4x. What's 4 times 8? 32. So plus 32. Okay. Now we're almost done. What do you think's not quite right about what we have written right now? Take a look at it. What looks a little funny maybe? Asia? Well, we normally, because we're like y equals mx plus b, we normally want 2 variables. There's something that's not quite in the right spot. Asia? Well, yeah, well, so we have a y on the left, right? But isn't there also something else on the left with it? Yeah, this 3 is actually what's called it. Yeah, we want the y all by itself. So now the question is, how are we going to do that? Well, think about like our 2-column method, right? Wouldn't our 3 need to move over to the other side? And when it moves, it should switch from a negative to a what? A positive. So technically what we want to do here is we just want to add our 3 over to the other side. We're basically moving it over. Okay? So we're going to have y equals 4x. And then we got rid of this -3, right? We moved it to the other side. What's 32 plus 3? 35. So then plus 35. That is our answer. Well, so it seems like a lot of work the first time we go through it because I'm doing all that extra explaining. But eventually it just becomes plug them in, distribute, move your one number over. It's normally about a 3-step thing. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, we're going to try it with some other situations. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, I just poked myself in the eye. Let's try this again with number 2. So with number 2, we have the point 7, -4, and the slope is -6. So this is our x1, this is our y1, and this -6 right here is our slope. So just so we get used to it, so we know what it looks like, I'm going to write down my formula again. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We're going to plug x1 and y1 in, and we're also going to plug m in. You get it? All right, so let's practice plugging this in here. we're going to have y minus y1. Somebody tell me what's my y1 value? -4. So y minus -4. Is it okay if I just put one negative sign? It is? A double negative means the same thing as just one negative? No. Make sure you always, exactly, make sure you always bring that sign down with you and write the sign down of the number if it's negative. M, what's my M value? -6. Put your parenthesis, x minus, very good, 7 is your x1 value. Good. Now, anything we need to take care of before I start simplifying and distributing and such? Yeah, I would take care of your double negative. Make that into a positive. And then what should I do now? I'm sorry? You can't do that yet. We'll do that next. I think I heard, yeah, I heard a couple people say distribute. So when we distribute, can we really do anything with the left-hand side yet? No, just bring it on down. Y plus 4 equals, and now let's distribute our -6. Yeah, -6x. And what's -6 times -7? 42. 42. That's okay. All right, now what's our final step? Oh, do we want to? Yeah, we do want to put the 4 on the right. The question is, do we want to add it or subtract it? Why subtract in this case? Right now, isn't it being added? So what would be the opposite? Subtracting, or think of it, you move it over, you have to switch your sign. So we're going to subtract our -4 over. Good. So we would have y equals -6x. What's 42 minus 4? Plus 38. Good. We're saying goofy numbers, but that's okay. That's hence why I said we might want a calculator, right? All right. Are we kind of seeing the process of this? Okay. All right, let's, oops, okay. How many of these do we have? Yeah, I want you guys to do, no, because I want to look at some of the fraction ones together. Yeah, I want you guys to try out 3. That one is no fractions on that one. Try out number 3 first, and then we'll look at some with fractions.
Does it go one more on x1 or x1 y1?
X1, Y1.
So then the y would be the 1.
Mm-hmm.
Negative.
The Y1 would be, yeah. You good, guys? Yeah. Don't you have a number outside of parentheses? So you need to distribute that first. So you distribute the -2. Yeah. What's a double negative? It's going to give you and then -2 times x. And then -2 times -3. And then just subtract over here plus 6 on two. And then just subtract over here 1.
I have a question.
I'll be right back. I think so. Yeah, that looks right to me.
Yeah. Since -2 times -36, what if you plus?
Correct.
That was the only question I had.
All right. I would go through and label. I think that's always helpful. Here's your x1, here's your y1. And we need to plug into the equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Lynn, tell me what I need to write down first. Yeah, y minus a -1. Very good, because that's your y1 value. Equals, Dallas, what should I then put? -2, and then do I want it just an x next to it, or do I want parentheses and then x? Well, so for this part, if you take a look, isn't m just -2? Yeah, I think make sure you have your parentheses and then put your x inside your parentheses. And then Hayden, what would I do then? Minus, yeah, that's right, yeah, -3. Good. Corey, what could I do now? I do have to distribute, so we'll distribute on the left. Anything I should, Annalise, anything else you see? Or do you have a question? Oh, the distributing, sure, in 1 second. There's something else we gotta fix first. The double negative should become a what? A positive. So y plus 1, then we're gonna do what Corey said, which was distribute. Annalise, what would I get when I distribute? Ooh, careful. Negative times a negative is a positive. That's okay. So plus 6, good. And then final step. Jake Sanders, what would my final step be? Okay, I want to move my plus 1. What do I have to do, though, to move my plus 1? Do I add it or subtract it? Yeah, I got to subtract it. So subtract your 1. Ladies and gentlemen, what should my final answer be? Jaden. Y equals -2x plus what? 5. Good. Good. Better? Okay. All right, let's try some with fractions. People at home, do you guys have any questions yet? How are we doing? I wish I could see their faces. Okay, I can't, and they're not answering. All right, so fraction 1, don't be scared by the fractions. I give you fractions that work out nicely, okay? I'm not doing them to trick you, I'm just doing them because sometimes you have fraction slopes, right? Those happen. So we're gonna do the exact same process. We have our x1 and our y1, and we're still gonna plug our info into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, so your x1 is -6, your y1 is 6, and then your slope this time is the 1/2. And we just need to now plug this into the appropriate places. So y minus y1, Mason B, what's your y1 value? It'd be 6, good. So y minus 6 equals m. Nick Lopez, what's your slope in this situation? Nick, do you know what we would use for slope? Not sure if Nick's there anymore. Olivia, do you know what we would use for slope? Okay. Kason, do you know what we would use for slope? He's not there. Asia, what would we use for slope? The 1/2. I don't know if they're there. Mason's there. Can't tell if anyone else is there. 1/2. X minus, Aiden, what should I use for my x1 value? Good, so x minus a -6. Mason Jimenez, what do I need to do with my double negative? Turn it into a positive. Good. And now, Aaron, what would my next step be? Distribute the 1/2. So I'm going to drop down this y minus 6. Now, when you distribute a 1/2, treat it just like any other number. If 2 times x is 2x, what do you think 1/2 times x is? 2.5. Well, I was just giving it like if 3 times x is 3x, 4 times x is 4x, what's a half times x? 1/2 x. Yeah. Okay, now, a half times 6. Don't let this throw you off. It will be 3. Good, but do you know how you got 3? It is basically just like dividing by 2. It's a half of 6. What's a half of 6? 3. Now, if you get a number that you're unsure about, can you always stick the whole number on top of a 1? And then multiply across. What's 1 times 6? 6. What's 2 times 1?
2.
Then you have 6 over 2, right?
Which is 2.
6 over 2, which is?
2.
You just said it before. 6 over 2, which is 3, right? Which is 3. But is it just as easy to think of it as what's half of 6? Sure. It's a little hard to do if you're like a third or a fourth or a fifth, right? But just think 6 over 2 is 3. So plus 3. Okay. Now last step. What haven't I called on? Brooklyn, what's my last step? Well, the 6 is being subtracted, so what's the opposite? Add it. We're going to now add the 6. Did you make that mistake, Hayden? It happens a lot, which is why it's important for us to show our work, right? Because you get most of that. So y equals 1/2 x plus 9. What were you asking me, Jada? Yeah. Like together or on your own? Yeah, together. Yeah, that's probably a good one. Yeah, I'm going to have you guys, we're going to do 6 together, and then you'll go back in a second and do 5 on your own. I agree. 6 is a good one for us to look at with all those negatives. Okay. All right. Let's see if our people at home are awake. I want them to talk to me though. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so y minus y1. Kason, what's your y1 value? Jake Newcomb, what's your y1 value? Mason, what's your y1 value? Hey Mason, thanks for coming to class today. It's okay. The module barely made it, so it's fine. So y minus a -2 equals m. Nick Lopez, what's your m? Olivia, what's your m? I think so. It is -1/3, Brooklyn. Tell them. -1/3. X minus x1. Jake Sanders, what's your x1? It is -9. Oh no. I'm going to keep that in mind the days that maybe you have to be remote, Jaden. That's why I'm in school. All right. Well, what happens if you get sick? All right, so now double negative has to turn into a positive. Question or answer, Annalise? Oh, okay. Yeah, turn those into positives. Let's drop down our y plus 2 equals. Now, what do you think negative 1/3 times x is? Very good. It is negative 1/3 x. Now, here's where you got to maybe be a little careful. You have negative 1/3 times 9.
I know.
First of all, what's a negative times a positive? A negative. It is 3. How'd you get 3 though? 9 divided by 3. But yeah, if you really like a nice, easy way to kind of think about it, guys, fractions are just like division. What's 9 divided by 3? 3. Because when you multiply this across, what you're technically going to end up doing is you're going to end up with 9/3, which is just 3. I always give you numbers that work out nicely to be like nice whole numbers. All right, so that's going to be -3. You're welcome. I do what I can. All right, and then your final step. Aiden, what's your final step? What needs to move over? The 2. How would we move it? To the right? Add or subtract though? Yeah, we're going to subtract the 2. Good. That is going to give us y equals negative 1/3 x minus 5. Doing great. Which part? That you have to move that one part over? Oh, combine it. I see what you're saying, yeah. You can always put it next to it if you prefer. I want you guys to try out 5. Take a second, try out 5. Are you done? Yeah. Good. If you look at this, an easy way to think about it, this is like 4/4. What's 4/4? 1. So be careful. Oh, you did that. Oh, I thought it was a fraction. No, so that was you then subtracting that over. Good. So that now you'll have y equals 1/4 x minus 3. You just got to combine those. How are we doing? I feel like we're doing really well. Good. I got a 5. Okay. Oh, so for this, your y is going to just stay a y. Okay. Your y1 is what gets put in here. So this should become y minus the -2 equals 1/4. That's good. X minus 4. So this part looks good. You just did something good today. How are we doing? Good. And now you just distribute your 1/4. So what do you think 1/4 times x is? Yeah, so equals 1/4 x. And for this, the easiest way to think about it This is just a fraction with 1 on top, right? So if you multiply by this, it'll be 4 over 4. What's 4 over 4? 1. And a positive times a negative is a negative, so minus 1. Okay? What's 1/4 times 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. You had 1, you had 4.
Oh, no, I just added that.
Oh,
I didn't hear that. Is it correct overall?
No, because you still have 4. It should be a 1.
Just
And then we'll subtract it and it'll be a 3. Yeah, I'll show you. All right, let's check this. All right, number 5. Help me plug this in. Jaden, what's the first thing I should write down? Okay, what are my numbers? Or what's like the first part of my equation that I need to write down? Like y minus. Okay. Oh, okay, so the original. Sure, we can write that down. Y minus equals m times x minus x1. And then what should I plug into that first part, Jaden? And how should I write the whole thing on the left? Like, what should I write down right here? If I was solving this, what would I write? You have it in front of you. Like, what letter do I write down first? Okay, a y. And then what sign do I write? A minus sign. Hayden, put your phone down, please. And then what? Hayden, get off your phone, please. Then what? A -2. Equals m. Lynn, what's your m value? 1/4. And then Annalise, what am I going to put in my parentheses? 4. Good. All right, Dallas, now what? The double negative? Yeah, what do I change it to? Positive. Okay, I agree. Make that a y plus 2. Corey, what else should I do? What do I need to do now with the 1/4? Well, almost. What do I need to multiply it by first? X. What's 1/4 times x? Okay, 1/4 x. And then what would I get if I did 1/4 times 4? 1. -1. Because what's 4 over 4? Yeah, be 1. And then subtract over your 2. So -2. Yeah, and your final answer should be y equals 1/4 x minus 3. It is a weird looking 4. Do you see what you did wrong? Okay. All right. We have a few little steps down here at the bottom that I want to make sure we fill in. This is now doing the same general idea, except I'm going to be giving you 2 points. I know you're not going to be given the slope, you're going to have to find it. Yeah, you were doing fine with these. And we might not get to the table problems at the bottom. That's okay. If not, we'll do them a different day. So writing equations of lines given 2 points. First, you're going to find the slope of the line. You had to do that in your homework yesterday, right? We gave you 2 points. You had to find the slope. Then you use that slope you found, and one of the points, either one you want, whichever one you like better, to write an equation in point slope form. Then you rewrite it in slope intercept form, which just means do the process we were just doing. So there's really just one extra step here. and that's calculating your slope. So I'd like to do a few of these, and then we'll see. We might have to do the table ones a different day. Let's start with A, and we'll probably skip around. We probably won't need to do all of these. Okay. Now with this one, you're not given a point and a slope, right? You're given 2 points. But if you're given 2 points, can you calculate a slope? Yes, we're going to use our slope formula. I would write it down at the top to remind yourself. Remember, it's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right. So first thing I would do is you can label if you want x1, y1, x2, y2. So that way we can easily find our slope. Remember, our trick when we're doing our slope is to keep your y's with your y's and keep your x's with your x's. Y is on top, x is on the bottom. So let's figure out our slope. So m equals, what would I do for y2 minus y1? What would I subtract on top? Jake? 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 on top, which means I then need to do what on the bottom? Hayden? Yep, 3 minus 1. Good. 10 minus 4 is 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. And what's 6 divided by 2? 3. Okay. Now I have a slope, right? I have slopes. I have points. Can I use point slope now? Now here's the thing that occasionally throws people. I have 2 points to choose from. I don't care which one you pick. Use whichever one you like. You want to use the one with smaller numbers, use the one with smaller numbers. There's one that has negatives and there's ones that don't, whichever one you like. Okay, what I'm going to do here is just so we make sure we're all looking at the same things. This is the slope I'm using, and I'm going to use this first point. It has smaller numbers, right? So why not? Could you use 3 and 10 if you wanted? Sure, I don't care. Doesn't matter. All right, so remember our formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to do y minus y1. Since I picked this first point, what's my y1 value? 4. Equals m, which we just found, which is what number? 3. And then parentheses x minus x1, which if I pick this first point is 1. Yes. And then it's the exact same process. Correct, yeah. Now what's my next step? Distribute. Good. So y minus 4 equals 3x minus 3. Because 3 times 1 is 3. And then what's my final step? Very good. Yeah, we have to add our 4 over. It's on the wrong side. So we're going to move our 4 over to get y equals 3x. And what's negative 3 plus 4? Positive 1. Good. Very good. Takes a little longer, but it's just really one extra step. Okay. Let's go down and look at part C since it's right below it. We might need to come back and finish some more of these another day, but that's okay. We'll see how like the homework goes for you guys, and if you think you need some extra practice on it, we can come back to it too. All right, so let's look at C. We have time for that. Okay, so you have 2 points, but I don't have a point and a slope, right? I need to find the slope. Can we find the slope? Absolutely, yep, find the slope. So let's label it. I got my x1, I got my y1, I got my x2, I got my y2. So m equals, what should I do on top if I want to subtract my y's? -2 minus 2. Good. y2 minus y1 is -2 minus 2. What about on the bottom with my x's? 3 minus 1. Good. Okay, now let's simplify. What's -2 minus 2? -4. You're fine. It will, the final thing will be -2. I know what you're saying. What's 3 minus 1? 2. And Asia, what's -4 divided by 2? -2. Good. Okay. Now, do I have a slope? Yes. Do I have points? Yes. Do I care which point you use? No. Pick whichever one you think looks easier. Personal opinion is the first one because there's no negatives, right? All right. So now we're going to use our point slope formula. Remember that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Somebody help me. What do I do now? Aaron, you paying attention? Good. Help me out. What do I do now? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Good. Y minus 2 equals -2. Excellent. Times x minus 1. Good. Y minus 2 equals -2 times x minus 1. Aiden, now what should I do? What would my next step be? I can't move anything over yet. What do I need to do with this -2 in my parentheses? Yeah, I need to distribute. So y minus 2 equals, and we're going to distribute our -2. We leave, yes. I thought it was 35. So 2x plus 2, and then add over your 2. That'd be -2x plus 4. Okay. Try your homework out. Do the best you can on it. If we feel like we need to do some more of this, though, that's okay. I don't think there's any word problems on your homework. There's not? Okay, good. So we'll get to practice those another day. I think we should have time on Thursday. So we might go back at the start of class on Thursday, try out a few more of these, and then move on. People at home, have a lovely day. You guys have advisory now.